Everyone assumed she was just another civilian in a crisp blazer, until one soldier noticed the 4 silver stars pinned discreetly on her collar. By then, it was already too late. Colonel Harris's voice cracked like dry wood in the bright afternoon heat as he barked, "Ma'am, step back, you're interfering with a security operation." But the woman he barked at didn't flinch. She stood beneath the blazing sun, posture calm, eyes steady, her shadow cutting clean across the dusty army checkpoint like a quiet challenge. Her name was General Liana Brooks, though none of the men recognized her. Not yet. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. Harris's irritation rose fast, fueled not by danger but by ego. The wind kicked up small spirals of dust behind him as he stepped closer, chest puffed out. The young soldiers behind him shifted uncertainly, unsure whether this civilian woman was a threat or just bold. When Brooks calmly corrected him, "Colonel, your perimeter is misaligned by 40 feet, and your team is pointing rifles at unarmed families." The yard froze. Her voice was low, steady, almost gentle, and for Harris, that made it worse. She saw the moment pride overpowered reason. His jaw tightened, his hand dropped to his cuffs. A couple of neighbors paused their yard work across the street, sensing tension like the pressure before a storm. A bird startled off a fence post. Even that small movement felt like a warning. General Brooks inhaled once, slow, gathering herself. She hadn't expected hostility today. She'd come only to check on a training site after receiving complaints from locals. But Harris saw only defiance, and he snapped. "Put your hands behind your back," he ordered. The 2 young soldiers beside him hesitated. Sweat glistened on their temples under the noon sun. They exchanged glances. Something felt off, completely wrong. But Harris's glare left them no room. The cuffs clicked cold around her wrists. A murmur rolled across the street as more people stepped outside, sensing the air thickening. A lawnmower shut off. A screen door creaked. General Brooks said nothing, though her heartbeat hammered painfully against her ribs. She had led troops through burning villages. She had stood between enemies and her soldiers, but never, not once, had she been humiliated on her own soil, by her own people. Then came the moment that turned the faint murmurs into sharp gasps. Her ID badge slipped from her pocket as one soldier guided her toward the patrol vehicle. It hit the ground with a soft thud. The soldier bent to pick it up, and froze. His breath left him. 4 silver stars. Her full name, U.S. Army, active duty, General. His fingers trembled. He looked at her, then at Harris. "Sir, you need to see this." Harris brushed him off impatiently. "She forged it. Put her in the GED." But he didn't finish. Because General Brooks finally spoke, not with anger, not with threat, but with a quiet sadness that cut deeper than any shout. "Colonel, before you continue, you should know the Pentagon has been trying to reach you for 2 hours. Harris laughed sharply. "Right. And I suppose," her phone vibrated in her cuffed hands. The screen lit up, Pentagon Operations Command. "Priority 1. The soldier nearest her stepped back like he'd touched fire. Neighbors whispered. A child tugged at her mother's sleeve. The entire yard seemed to hold its breath. Harris's face drained of color. She tilted her head slightly. "Would you like to answer it, or shall I?" Harris swallowed hard, hands suddenly unsteady as he took the device and lifted it to his ear. The voice on the other end was loud enough for everyone nearby to hear snippets. And the snippets were enough. "You detained 1. Stand down immediately. Consider yourself relieved, pending full investigation." By the time Harris lowered the phone, the sun felt twice as hot on his neck. The young soldiers stepped forward at once. But not toward her, toward him. With firm, practiced movements, they removed his weapon, his radio, his authority. The same cuffs he placed on her were clipped onto his wrists. The neighbors watching exhaled, some in shock, some in quiet satisfaction, all aware they had witnessed the moment arrogance collapsed. General Brooks rolled her shoulders as the cuffs were removed from her own wrists. The raw red marks stung, but she didn't hide them. She walked past Harris slowly, her gaze steady, carrying both dignity and disappointment. "You were given power to protect," she said softly. Not to punish. Harris lowered his eyes. He had no defense left, because kindness doesn't vanish. It waits. And it finds its way back. And sometimes it arrives in the exact place where respect was lost under a bright midday sun. If you felt something during this story, tell me in the comments, and make sure to subscribe for more stories like this.